Alright, this episode's not going to be very long, and it's just one story, but there's a lot of stupid in this one, so hard hats on. Now, a friend of mine, he lives, he's got a fenced-in property, and right behind him, his mother and his stepdad live. Now, his mom and stepdad get into fights all the time. I'm talking fist fights. And the stepdad, we'll call him Kevin, beats the crap out of his mom, we'll call her Karen. Ever 6 months to a year, according to what I'm told. I've never witnessed this myself. And apparently the last time was sometime last year, and Karen went running to my friend's house for safety. And, of course, that's no laughing matter. So we're not laughing about that. Well, she starts divorce proceedings, and then, as she always does apparently, she starts missing the husband's money. Because when he leaves, he takes the bank account with him. And she's just living off of disability or Social Security or whatever it is that she gets, so it's not much. And she likes to spend money. So, after about 6 months, she lets him come back. And apparently, as I'm told, this is a frequent thing. Every couple of years, she kicks him out for 6 months or so. Now, what the idiot either doesn't care about or don't realize is he's actually a cuck. Because what's happening is she kicks him out, gets a lot of strange, and then after a couple of months, brings him back so she can spend his money again. Now, this time, he came back about January of 2023. And, boy, because my friend testified, or give a statement to the sheriff's department about the bruises and all that he saw on his mother, Kevin really don't like him. My friend is on disability, and Kevin has made it his life's mission to try to get my friend kicked off of disability. And, of course, Karen, even though that's her son, has sided with her husband because, money. So, they went out and put up security cameras in all the trees on their property, watching nothing but my friend's property, so they can monitor everything he does. So my friend, being of low income, searched around and found somebody that tore down an old privacy fence. And he bought the old privacy fence boards and built this rickety, horrible looking. Now keep in mind, I'm going to stop for a minute. I'm trying to get him to come on the show so we can show the evidence of all this, the videos and the photos and all that. And I think y'all will really enjoy it. And he keeps saying he's gonna come on, but then, never really commits to a time or date. So that's something I'm working on with him. We're going to get him in here and we're going to get you to be able to see this, and it's crazy. So he builds this really ugly fence, but it's a privacy fence. They can't see his yard anymore. So they go buy poles, big flag poles, and put them up all over their yard and put the cameras way up on these 20-foot poles looking directly into his yard. Now, the thing you have to keep in mind is this is the state of Texas, and you can film anybody you want. You can photograph anybody you want as long as they're outside of their home. So watching his property is asinine, but it is most definitely not illegal. Now, in the meantime, Kevin has taken to shooting objects on my friend's property with a BB gun, a CO2-powered BB gun, not a little toy BB gun. Now, based on my advice, a police officer's advice, and other people's advice, my friend put little whirly-birds out on the fence to activate the motion sensors on the cameras to speed up draining their batteries. And then he put a light, on my advice, shining at the one camera that watches his swimming pool. Because, he lives a bachelor life a lot of times, and sometimes him and another consenting adult wants to go swim naked in the middle of the night. Hey, it's your pool. You got a privacy fence. You ought to be able to do that. But, oh, look, there's a camera up there watching. We got to shine a light at that to prevent that. So we get just a little halogen, not a halogen, just a round floodlight bulbs, one of them. and shine it up there. And, the camera will because it's a digital camera, it'll auto focus on the light instead of everything around it. So it's perfect. For the other cameras, we've put reflective tape up on poles and stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous that it had to be done. I say we. My friend has. I didn't do that. He's put that up there. But because the camera has an infrared sensor in the dark, the sheets of tin that he's got up blocks it during the day, and then the reflective paint and the reflective strips blind it at night. So none of their cameras are looking in there. So they start trespassing on his property, tearing his fence up. So he calls the sheriff's department. Sheriff's department comes out. No, they didn't come on your property. And even if they did, it's not a big deal, because trespassing is if they come up on your porch and they're bothering you and stuff. Well, I got news for you. That's not what the law says. But that's the way the sheriff's department's taking it. So the sheriff's department don't want to do nothing on either side. They just think it's a ridiculous family argument, and they should just be left out of it. Even though Kevin has taken to shooting people on my friend's property with a BB gun. He shot at a couple of people and hit a couple of people. But sheriff's department won't do it. Even though they got pictures of Kevin doing this, sheriff's department and the district attorney will not touch it. It's crazy. So going on with all of that, I've been advising him, you need to get an attorney. The sheriff's department's claiming they didn't trespass because Kevin's claiming he was still on his property. You need to get a survey. Well, a couple of weeks ago, first I should clarify. In the state of Texas, we have this thing called a peace bond that's done through the Justice of the Peace Court. And all a peace bond really is two parties go before the Justice of the Peace, and the Justice of the Peace hears both sides. And then the Justice of the Peace says, y'all can't threaten anybody, or can't threaten each other anymore, and y'all both have to put up a bond for X amount, and you get it back in a year unless you threaten, the other party, and if you do that, you're going to lose your bond. It's going to be turned over to the state, and the state gets to keep your money. And then, of course, they could give you, a few days in jail for contempt of court. So really, it's a legal battle that has absolutely no teeth to it. Well, my friend looked into filing this. And once he realized there was no bite to it, there wasn't no point in doing it. Well, about a month later, Kevin files it against my friend. Now, this wouldn't be a big deal because, again, it has no teeth to it. And I'm really hoping I get my friend on the show to show you all this. But Kevin files a document, a legal document, in the Justice of the Peace Court. So now it is committed to the legal public record. And in it, he admits to, he's not doing it on purpose. Because the sheriff's department has been out so many times and not punished him, he thinks that what he's doing is completely legal. So he's complaining that my friend is blocking his security cameras from being able to watch and harass my friend. He's complaining about the light shining at the security camera because it's blocking his ability to watch my friend's property. And then he admits in there that he tore up a section of my friend's fence because he felt like it was on his property. The survey was done by the survey company because it just happened to land this way. It was supposed to be done a week before. But they finished it up the morning the court hearing was going to happen. The court hearing was at like 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. And they got done surveying like 11 a.m., maybe lunchtime, and confirmed what my friend already knew, that his property line was exactly where he thought it was, not where Kevin thought it was. So Kevin committed to writing in a legal document the crimes that he's committed. I mean, just a long list of craziness and complete absurdities. And then just goes on about how it's offensive that my friend is blocking his cameras and all that. But of course, he doesn't spell offensive with an O, it's with an A. All right, it's offensive. So that right there tells you the level of intellect you're dealing with here. So it's just an absolute absurdity that this guy, because the sheriff's department has strung this along and not done something when they should have done something months ago. So this guy has actually believed that he was the one in the right. And that's why he wasn't being punished, ticketed, cited, anything. So they haven't got a ruling on the court thing, the peace bond yet. At the end of the hearing, which lasted the rest of the day, the Justice of the Peace actually loaded up with her police escort and everything and went and looked at the two properties and walked the property, looked at the cameras, looked at the fences and all of that. Now, don't get me wrong, there's things that I've left out because it's a lot. That's why I need him to come on the show. But like in one instance, my friend caught Kevin sticking a camera underneath my friend's privacy fence to look underneath it when he was doing some maintenance on his porch. Again, he's trying to find anything he can to try to get my friend kicked off disability. And that's just not going to happen because he's got pretty severe medical records that back up his disability. To the point that they actually got his disability reviewed this year. They done Social Security done a full-on review. Wanted to talk to witnesses that could attest to the disability and confirm it and all. Plus pulled his medical records and everything. So they did actually get a review done on him. How crazy is that this guy had to deal with that just because his mom took back a stepdad that beats on her. And the sheriff's department knows because she won't press charges. And what I don't understand is they've got all the evidence. They've got all the photos. They've got her statements that he's beat on her. Now, we all know that in any state, in the United States, the state has the authority to prosecute even if you don't press charges. If they have enough evidence, they can prosecute, and they have enough evidence. This poor woman has had her hand broken. They've got x-rays for that. They've got reports on that, statements that she's given on that. But because she repeatedly drops the charges and goes back to her abuser, the sheriff's department and the district attorney's office just does absolutely nothing to help this poor woman out. And I say poor woman because, yeah, she's involved in all this craziness and she's to blame too. But at the same time, how much of that might be indoctrination that's just been beat into her? And she just doesn't know how to function. Maybe it really isn't the money. Maybe it's just she's so old and terrified of being alone. Who knows? I can't read minds. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the story. I really hope we can get my friend on here. And since it is a video podcast, we can show the documents because they are a matter of public record. But still, I'm not going to show them without his consent. That would be kind of rude. But I do believe that we'll get him on the show, and I think we'll be able to walk you through all this, show you the absurdities of the fence, of the things that they've done, and you're going to be just as bewildered as I am, going, why is the sheriff's department not doing nothing? In fact, the Justice of the Peace even chastised both parties, my friend and Karen and Kevin, because the sheriff's department had been out there more than 60 times this year. So, obviously, there's a problem. If the sheriff's department's been called between both residences 60 times, maybe you should be doing something. Chastise the sheriff's department, not the victim and the perpetrator. Now, she did, the JP is female, she did chastise Karen because the day the survey was happening, Karen called 911 to report that the surveyors were trespassing on her property. But here's a little known fact for you. It's impossible for a survey crew to trespass because they have the right to access any property. I mean, barring, a top secret facility or something like that. But any property that they're surveying, that they have the right to survey, they have the right to trespass on. It's not trespassing. So she did get chastised for calling 911 about that, because that is a complete waste of resources. And if you're going to call, you call the non-emergency number. You don't call 911. That's for actual emergencies. But the fact that it is now November, it's the 21st of November, and this has been going on since January. And the real kicker is, when he found out that Kevin was moving back in, he had me over there to help him install a new security camera. He was getting ready to upgrade all of his security cameras, but the one really high-end one came in first, and we installed that back by his shop because he was about to put a pig and a horse out there. His girlfriend had a horse, and he was wanting to get a pig and raise it for slaughter. And he, in the past, he's had problems with Kevin spraying Roundup or something like it over the fence and killing his plants. So he wanted to make sure that the animals would be protected. But his mother, Karen, went out telling everybody that we installed this security camera that looked into her bedroom. And I've never been in her house. I don't even know where her bedroom is. But I can tell you that as somebody that installs security cameras on a pretty regular basis over the years, I always test. And if a camera can see something like that, it gets moved. Because I'm not going to be accused of something like that. It's unethical. And in some places, it's illegal. It ought to be illegal in all places, but it's not. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not going to install a camera looking inside of someone's home. Not from another property. Now, if you hire me and say, hey, I want it to look in my own house, that's another story. But, you know, there's still limitations. We're not going to install cameras in bathrooms or any of that kind of craziness. So why you would go out there and deliberately slander me and defame me is beyond me, because I've never done anything but help the lady out with stuff and things like that. And I thought we were friends. And then as soon as I helped my friend install a security camera to watch his livestock area at the corner of his property, suddenly my name got pulled into it too. So again, gotta have the hard hat for people like that, because that's a whole lot of stupid. And with that kind of bullshit, boots ain't enough. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you enjoyed the story. Like I said, we'll try to get him on here to tell more. Don't forget to like and subscribe.